So I know we just did a episode about, but that just wasn't enough because there were so many people there that I really, really enjoyed that I don't get to talk to on an everyday basis anymore. And it just really breaks my heart. So for today's episode, I have Alleah Thomas and Kelly Kennedy. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Oh, of course.
Thank you much for inviting us.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, you guys are so talented. You're pastry artists who that's how we all met in the shop. What inspired you to kind of decide to go to school and learn how to do that? What was it like to go to school together?
I think more firstly, as far as just like want to be a pastry chef, I was like, I'm not gonna lie, my mindset was like, this stuff looks pretty bougie, and I kind of did want to be able to make it. But Kelly was one of my highlights of being there. We became very, very good friends. You very much have influenced as far as my just like development in period, as far as being a pastry chef.
Oh, I just got into it because I honestly was always that kid in school that like never really was good with like being focused in school, and I was kind of a little shithead. And then by the time it came to graduating high school, I lucked out that I have pastry chefs in my family that I was it kind of became like, well, I can definitely study this, have a trade, kind of have like somebody to look ask questions about doing it because I did enjoy it. And then it just also semi appeased my very Vietnamese family so I could just make them happy. And I actually did enjoy it. And yeah, school was fun. I'm glad that I was able to meet Aaliyah because she's wonderful and an actual earth angel. And I probably wouldn't have graduated if she wasn't there.
Oh, my heart.
I love hearing your stories about just going to school together because I feel like any learning experience where you're learning this thing that you're going to do for the rest of your life, it's so bonding and so much fun. The routine and just maybe like the overwhelmingness of it to like make a friend.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think we lucked out. Our entire like class was very, very, very close for the most part. There was only 13 of us, and one thing that was really dope about it is that we called ourselves like the Baker's Dozen. There were 13, but there were 12 girls. Like it was all just 12 women and then one man, which is kind of awesome because you kind of think about the culinary field is still such a boys' club. Like it's really awesome to like be surrounded by so many amazing women, and we all had like the biggest age range of like right out of high school to grandmas who were coming back to school, and then like moms who were doing their side gig but they wanted to become more like polished and professional about it. So that was really, really awesome to just to have like different generations of like why we wanted to do the same thing. So we all had our own different way like styles, but it was really awesome.
Very much so. I love the dynamic in that class.
Both of you ended up in the shop where the environment was kind of very much like that too. How did you both end up there?
I think when I started, I used to work at Ameristar, and one of the girls that I worked with there was actually at, and she was leaving, and I was already on the trail. Like, I can't handle working overnights too more. It's physically and mentally draining. So I end up taking her position, and that's how I started. And I think we also needed another pastry chef. So it was our friend Mass, and I remember I think I also asked Kelly too. And
Yeah.
Kelly was the one who ended up being there. And Madison already had two of the jobs. It was just me asking her.
Yeah, I think I lucked out because out of school, I knew that I preferred doing smaller volume, boutique kind of like that kind of baking that we did. And out of school, I got one of our old teachers reached out to me who worked at the Hyatt and like this big hotel. And I knew like I wasn't going to be a particular fan of high volume baking, but I wanted the experience and tried it out. And then like I lasted as long as I did. And I kind of was probably in the same boat of Aaliyah. Like I knew I was kind of getting exhausted a little bit because it was just working these giant banquets and everything, but like not having the best dynamic at work, and then family coming in that I was like, oh shit, I really need to like devote, kind of just take a step back and do like a little bit smaller and not work at a place that literally can't close because like you had to work every holiday, which is fine, but also insane. And then, yeah, Leah just moved in at the perfect time and asked me to come interview, which I'm very thankful for. Everyone was so amazing.
First of all, I loved working there with everybody. But when it was the three of us on a shift in the
Oh,
morning and we just talked about true crime and murder, it was like, ooh, tell me about a murder. And I was like, ooh, I got one for you.
well, I also loved like one of my favorite things is we'd walk in and it was just such like a family environment, but he'd walk in and be like, man, I feel kind of shitty today or what's going on? And we'd be like, Rebecca, why? Tell me what's going on with the stars. And you were like, oh, honey, don't worry. It's not you. You're not crazy. And like, you were kind of just like that grounding figure of like, don't worry, the stars, like it just let us know.
I literally told Donald that. I'm like, this critter keeps us going. 'Cause I don't know what else I'm gonna do to kind of drown out the day of being here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I tried because I feel like when we were all working there, I was kind of just first starting to really get out of the broom closet. And I was just like, I love learning about the stars and this and that and all these things that just make me feel more connected to self and humans too, because there is like a very powerfulness in someone being like, listen, I understand that you're probably overwhelmed, but this is why, because the stars are telling you that everything's wild right now. Just love yourself, boo. You're going to get through it.
Mm-hmm. Oh gosh, and it's just yeah, it's kind of funny like how quickly you become like so close. I'm sure anyone in any we're working in any environment, but especially like the service industry where we're all kind of like a ragtag crew of people and like that type of personality anyway. So like all of us going through like our different little random like breakups or this or that. So like I know especially with mine, I will never forget you just looking at me with my ex-boyfriend and being like, oh, he's a Leo. Okay, okay, and then we just like dove into it. And I was like, oh no, like, okay. I was like, now this makes so much more sense. I'm not crazy. And you're like, you're never crazy. And like, just like do like a whole mini birth chart moment. I was like, okay, this makes a lot more sense now.
Listen, Leo, I know that we can be really awesome. We're also the worst. And I think I remember, Aaliyah, having this conversation with you because you, for being a Virgo, you're an angel on earth. So I'm like, if we had something where we had to talk about it, we talked about it. Whereas I feel like a lot of Virgos are just like, I'm going to destroy you with truth of things you've done. I'm like, what? Don't hurt me. Don't hurt me emotionally. I think I remember telling you once, I'm like, I think you're one of the few like non-trash Virgos I've ever met. And you were like, well, damn.
I heard that and I was like, you know what? That is the best compliment I have had. So I'm gonna take that with all my joy.
Honestly, yeah. I mean, I don't know if I don't know if I know any other really Virgos other than, yeah, the rest of them are kind of trash, aren't they?
I'm just like,
Well, I think that's the thing about all signs, though, is that, like, we as people, like, we possess both the best and the worst. Working in that shop was such a great time because, like, as a loop rat, like, it finally achieved my goal of finally working in the loop. And, before we started recording, Kelly, you had said that you were, like, a loop rat as well. Did you work in any other place in the loop?
No, I never worked in the loop. I just kind of like my adolescence, like my preteen kind of era of like you can't really drive yet, or maybe one friend can't. So all you do is just kind of you're those kids that just walk up and down the loop forever. And I actually like it kind of hit me recently, like how much it really impacted me pre-quarantine. I got bubble tea, and the little old Chinese lady that runs the STL bubble tea looked at me and she's like, oh my God, how have you been? Have you gone to college? Did you graduate? And I was like, what? And she's like, so she remembered me and like was checking in on me. And I was like, oh my God, you kind of like forget that. Like, yeah, like they were wondering where we were too. And like, she was just like, I just hope you're well. And this and that. And it was just the cutest thing. And just spending my childhood going to like Star Clippers and like Ragorama, which doesn't exist anymore. And like all those little
RIP.
I know.
that's so sweet.
Yeah, I was like, I never worked there. I just always like kind of hung out there. And then whenever I like started coming back eventually, whenever I could actually eat and drink and maybe try to sneak around and drink underage if I could anywhere and just speak nonsense.
I love all of that. So I know that you weren't someone who like really, went to the loop a whole lot when you were younger, but when did you really start hanging out there, at least spending more time there and exploring, what was the loop?
I feel like my first like real hangout session was when Kelly and our friend Madison, we went to, I think it was Three Kings, and they always get on me about this. What was it, like this hibiscus drink that I got? And I was just like so in love with it. And I'm like, how have I missed like everything on this store? Like everything to me was like, oh my God, there's this, they have a doggy store. They have all this food. Cause I like, as I got older and when I started doing things, I was like, all right, I just want to try everything and eat everywhere. And I'm like, this is like the best. And then eventually when it transitioned to that was like the majority of the main time I was there. And then I like was like, Donna, we have to go here, it's on the loop. We have to go there, it's on the loop. I'm like, this whole strip has been here under my nose, like 10 minutes away, and I've never been here before.
You went to the same high school that I went to. And it was so funny because you actually went to high school with my sister, which I think is the funniest thing about St. Louis is everybody knows everybody.
Oh my God, it's insane.
Exactly. I was like, you're related to Rebecca? I was like, what? I was like, Donald, I know Rebecca's sister. We went to school together. I was like, I know It's like that big moment of like, oh my God, we know each other. So it was really cool for me.
God, that is the most St. Louis thing ever.
Yeah, that is the most St. Louis thing ever. God, I have so many memories. There used to be a bread co in the Loop, which then became a MacArthur's, and then that closed, and I think it's a bank now. I don't know. Just seeing all the different things that have changed on this little strip have been.
Well, yeah, it was kind of one of those things too, where like the Loop is just one of the most easily approachable parts of the city. Where like if you are from the county or from wherever, like obviously like depending on where you are, St. Louis has that bad rep or whatever, and like people get a little nervous, and like it is one of the like you can get some of the most diverse cuisine without if you're like maybe a little too nervous to go to South Grand, where you can get like the really good stuff. And you can walk around with your family and get like Fitz's and all that sort of stuff, or go to Star Clipper, and it is a lot more approachable if you're not fully sure where to go, because it is a little bit more touristy, which is nice and easy as like a kid, where like your parents aren't going to be scared to just let you walk around and wander by yourself, even though if you just cross that Del Mar line, it's like a whole nother world.
Someone who I really value is Melissa at Temperance Home and Bar. And in case she isn't already an angel on earth, she's doing, on election day, she is doing tarot readings. And some of the proceeds are going to Raices, which is an organization that helps out, immigrant children and adults. For the children, they typically find lawyers and legal representation. And for the adults, they help pay the bonds to get them out and help them get back to, their lives and their family and the things that we have to do in capitalism. All right. So please support Melissa at Temperance Home and Bar. That's a really amazing cause. And I am so glad and grateful that I know her and she does amazing things like this all the time. The information to follow is in the show notes. Let's get back into the episode. Well, Kelly, I want to circle back around to something that you said about like all the different culinary things in the Loop, because that is very much true. And as both of you who are individuals who like, make delicious edible things, are you familiar with kitchen witches?
I am not.
Yes and no. I think aren't they kind of like a good luck charm sort of thing, or supposed to be?
Well, I guess, but really, a kitchen witch is just an individual who makes food with intention.
Yes.
Because I love hosting themed things because I'm just that person. And you had made a cake and it was like a crime scene. And I remember that you had asked about it, like mentioning something. I'm like, oh, could you put like another skeleton on it? I think that might be cool. And you're like, I'm redoing everything. And like, I feel like once you have a vision, and you're very like collaborative with like other people's efforts, you're like, all right, okay, new vision, we're changing this up. That cake tasted as good as it looked. So
thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I think speaking on Aaliyah's baking, that like one of my favorite things that I learned from school, like I noticed about her early on in school, which is why I think we became so close, was that she had that same energy that if everyone knows, like when it comes to food, like people love food, people love to cook and this and that. But when it comes to baking, I think there's always that mini stigma of people are like, oh, I could never do that. It's this and that. When really all it is precise, because all it is following directions, and that's all you have to do. Yet somehow like something will happen where it just gets fucked up. I've always loved that even with that happening, and like no matter how frustrated you get, Alleah is always the person in the corner who's just like, it's just baking. Just go with the flow. She's like, you're making sweets to make people happy. Just chill. So it's like there's never no reason to be that high strung baker and like or whatever. Like she's just very calming and just like reminds you you're baking. That's it. It's okay. It's simple. Just go with the flow. We're just gonna, if we want to redo it. But she just makes you feel good about, or just being around her around it. It's nice.
My heart.
And Alleah, I think that really just comes from the fact that whether you're baking or cooking something, there's a reason why you're making it. Like, you know what I mean? Like I remember at one point you were like showing us something you made and I was like, why don't you start like a service where you make delicious food for people so that they can stick to their diets within like whatever? And you're like, huh? And I'm like, no, but I'm serious. Like, I want you to do that.
Like, yeah, people would eat that up, literally.
Yeah. No, you have a gift. And I really hope that you realize that. And one thing that's really cool about like kitchen witchery is, say, for example, you make this cake and you're like, I really just need people to eat this cake and really drive up my business or whatever. Like if you were doing like a side hustle thing, you can make a cake that has a bunch of cinnamon in it because that's a prosperity herb and it's really good at attracting things to you. So if like you figured out a way from in the cake to have like a slight taste of cinnamon, in the buttercream or something to have a slight taste of cinnamon. You are intentionally putting this wish, this want of like what you want out of it into it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Oh, damn. See, I always, because I've seen kitchens that have kitchen witches, but it's kind of almost like an elf on the shelf vibe of just like this little, like,
Mm.
you know what I'm saying? But I guess that makes way more sense that they probably put that witch figure there to help with your intention and all that sort of stuff. That makes way more sense. Instead of having like a candle, it's a little witch.
To just like remind you of what your goals are.
I like that saying that elf on the shelf kind of way. That puts a good visual to it too.
The ones I've seen, they just kind of look like just old school, like vintagey, like dolls. Because I think it is kind of like a more vintage decoration sort of thing. I want to, because I feel like I was at an estate sale or something somewhere, and it kind of looked like one of a little old, like Russian babushka-y little witch kind of like thing.
Ooh.
Like it was more like a European looking one. I should have just gotten it, but also I was like, this sounds cool. I did a little bit of quick Googling, but not really. But also an estate sale buying like a doll sounded very, I was too nervous. Yeah, it's like, this is where I get haunted and I'm not ready.
Okay, so based on what I kind of told you about what a kitchen witch is, do you kind of feel like you are one? Either one of you?
Oh, for sure.
Deaf, most deaf.
When you eat something that like, you know, someone who loves you made and you can like taste that love in every bite.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I always felt like I got that. I think that was the thing about like that like when you would have a pastry there, not only was it delicious and wonderful and whatever, but I feel like for the most part, the people who were making it were like happy and enjoying their jobs and the situation. It was a stressful place, don't get me wrong, because it was busy, but overwhelmingly, it was a fun place to be.
I just feel like it's one of those things where, like, when it comes to baking and stuff like that, like, if you really aren't happy while doing it, you're not going to last long. So, luckily, it just weeds those people out anyway. So, it keeps everything tasting good.
Because you can definitely tell for somebody who does not like what they're doing in their food.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, your attitude is literally in what we're eating, and it's not good.
Well, before I let you go, how's about a tarot reading?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. Who wants to go first?
Aaliyah, you go first.
Okay, cool. I'm ready.
All right. Close your eyes real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Focus on your breath. Kind of breathe in deeply, out deeply. Just do that a couple of times. I'm shuffling the cards. Whenever you feel ready, tell me to stop.
Stop.
Okay. So with this one, we start with the Nine of Swords. Keep in mind that sometimes we have to learn lessons in a hard way. So be very attentive to the things that are around you that are presenting themselves. You make sure you're paying attention because sometimes it's easy to misunderstand how something may not necessarily be super beneficial for you long term. But I think that you're really lucky to be surrounded by so much love and so many like people who care about you. So anything that like has terrible intentions is going to show itself.
I find it so funny that you point that out because that was like me all yesterday. Mentally very stressful. And I've also been noticed as I've gotten older, my physical body is like really going off my mental body to where I haven't been paying attention. And I get this really bad thing to where when I get really anxious, I get very nauseous very fast. And I was calm down with that. I was like, all right, I'm getting really stressed out. And I'm just like, I can't handle this no more because I feel like I'm about to like pass out and vomit at the same time because we're also having like things where we're trying to express ourselves more at work. But I never want to come off the person that's complaining, so I don't say anything. But I'm like, all right, we got to get this together because in the end, I don't want to be somewhere I don't like being when I really actually do.
Yeah.
100%. Well, good. And I think that, like I said, you are so lucky to be just surrounded by so much love and people who care about you. Because I feel like, you know what I mean? Like, I know that we don't always talk on the most regular basis, but like, if you were really going through it and you needed like a perspective, it's like, you call me.
Mm-hmm.
Like I will drop every.
I very much appreciate it.
Yeah, dude. Like, I feel like we were. I was telling Ash and Justin about this on the episode that we just did. Like, I feel like we, for better or worse, trauma bonded. We had great experiences together. We had terrible experiences together. But I really do think that that really kind of made us like look at each other and be like, oh, we do care because we just want each other to like get through it and be okay.
Very much agree with that.
Yeah, I do love how quickly, like, everyone, it was just such like a little family, and it was the cutest place ever. Loved it. I miss it all the time.
Me too.
We're going to have to all get together at some point. You know, it's like, it's sad that it's gone, but at least we all had the opportunity to meet.
Yeah. Because even though I kind of caught the tail end of it, it's just like even the small amount of time I spent there was just such an impactful experience, and I just loved everybody so much. Like I would just like you said, like I would drop anything if any of you called on me for any just for anything, or I would just take a bullet for you, help you hide a body. I mean, we all were into murder so much that in true crime things that I think we are all pretty prepared, and this would be the group to call on. So
Yes.
I love it. Okay, Kelly, so now it's your turn. So same deal. Take a second to like close your eyes and kind of focus on your breath. Breathe in deeply, breathe out deeply. And whenever you feel ready, I will pull a card.
alrighty.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Yours is different because yours is a major arcana card. Alleah had a swords card. So with this one, the major arcana is part of what is your enlightenment journey, kind of just like major things that are going to pop up in life. So you got the Wheel of Fortune, which is good because I feel like for sure you're definitely someone who, because you are a very like hardworking individual, successful like jobs where you're going to flourish really do present themselves. And I think that you've been very like fortunate in a lot of ways. Like not only are you in a place where you have like all these resources that are helping you be prepared for anything that might come your way, I think that you have a good head on your shoulders and you have a good kind of connection to yourself and the universe. So you have a very level head. So just be prepared for a lot of good things to come your way because it seems like you have a lot of good fortune and just good opportunities and fate that are going to lead you to good places.
Ooh, I like that.
You deserve nothing but the best.
Oh, thank you. Oh.
I feel like everyone out there is just like, you guys just care about each other so much. It's like we really do.
I know. I had the exact same thought of like I earlier, like just in the shower, kind of like thinking about like, oh, like what would I want to say, but I really don't know. And also like it's just gonna be one big love fest between Alleah and I, as it always is. It's just anytime we interact with each other, we're just like holding each other, saying how much we genuinely love each other the entire time.
I legit told Donna, I was like, when I first told him about Kelly, I was like, Kelly, my girl,
Like, all right,
I love her to
cool,
death.
I'm ready. I
Like,
remember
she's
like
sassy as
showed
shit.
us
She's
all our
the best
pictures,
person
all our
ever.
videos.
I legit started crying though. He's like, what's
Oh.
wrong? I'm like, I just love her so much. And I was like, I hate when they things wrong. And he's like, it's fine. I'm like, I know it's fine, but still.
Yeah, when I got the text from Donald saying that he was going to propose and like who he wanted like close friends and family there, I immediately started bawling at work and was just like screaming. All my coworkers were freaking out, like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Oh, Leah, I love their love." And they're like, "What?" I was like, "I love their love." Just screaming. It was so happy, and like I was just so excited for you.
I've been looking at that picture literally every day of him showing me. I was like, this is why I love her.
Yeah, I think honestly, like the actual care and like love for each other that was oozing out of that place, it still just like makes my heart skip a beat thinking about it. Oh, it was just so cute.
We need to get all of us in the same room again.
Yes.
Like we
Yes.
were all very just like there was never. Yeah, everyone was just very low maintenance. Like you never had to like baby somebody or take care of somebody. We were just kind of like immediately could just address stuff.
But also, Ash pointed this out because she had talked to Christian about it, about how like sometimes we were all just the most chaotic people too. Because Christian was like, "Why are you all so crazy?" And I'm like,
Oh, well, yeah, we're very low maintenance. I think that was the understanding of like we were all genuinely insane, like in our own way, but it worked well. We were kind of just like our own little loony bin that found each other.
That was like
"Yes."
me telling Donald any stories from work. He's like, I really do sometimes have a hard time following, but now it's just easy. I expect all these twists and turns when you tell me these stories because it doesn't make sense, but then it does make sense.
Yeah, we're just like a little loony bin, but we're like the minimum security that we get to like go out and like walk around and do stuff.
Right. We get outside time.
Yeah, we do. We get outside time and we spend it together.
I mean, honestly, I feel like we would have been really great characters on Gilmore Girls, like just fitting in the background.
Oh my gosh, yes.
All right. Well, I could talk to you both forever, and I really want to, but I know we all have things that we have to continue doing. So, how can everyone support you?
Ooh, I was just going to be corny and say, like, just love each other and be good to each other because right now, honestly, the world's on fire. We just be decent and wear a mask and wash your hands.
Right.
If you do out in public, be polite to anyone who's working because you're all putting your own safety at risk. So be cool about it.
Exactly. I very much agree with that because that's like with me being nervous with this new job, especially because I was on one at one point wearing a mask, and it was just things where I'm just like, because my grandmother has diabetes, so I for like the good week had like a almost a breakdown because I was so nervous of being around her because I'm like, I don't want to carry anything. And I was like, it would make my heart hurt if I got you sick. And I'm just like, you're like, okay, this is a serious time. Let's just try to do the best we can with what we got right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just wash your hands, wear a mask, don't be racist.
That's really solid advice. Yeah, for sure. Be good to service industry people. Like I'm not in that line of work right now, but god damn it. Like people are cruel and people are mean and god damn it, there's a pandemic. So if you're going to start with your bullshit, just fucking stay home and learn to cook because at the end of the day, have respect for the people who are feeding you when you can't feed yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you so much for listening, everybody, and just having a little glimpse of the amazing people in my life. Thank you again, Kelly and Leah, for being on the show. Bye, everyone.
Mm-hmm.